live-ish and back in action. We have taken a short hiatus from podcasting just because we have all been extremely overwhelmed with good happenings and exciting things at LiftLab, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. We're also going to recap what's been going on in the world of weightlifting and our performance at the Arnold. And when I say our, I mean our lifters, oh my gosh, it's been so long since doing a podcast, I can't talk. Our lifters as well as Team USA's performance, and kind of the implications it has for Pan Am teams, things like that. We're going to talk about our
Group Fitness
and
where that's going.
A few other odd things here and there.
I believe the last podcast we did was the AO3 recap. Is that correct? Somewhere around there?
Yeah. It was...
And I think we came back and we recapped, and then we turned around and said, no shit, we got to build a building.
Yep. So let's start there first. So
Okay.
Just for those of you that follow along with the LiftLab Instas and stories, we are creating our second location to answer the questions. We are not closing the downtown location. It is still up, thriving, and smashing. We're just expanding to the north.
It's pretty much
central suburbs.
Due north.
Westfield.
Due north.
Yeah, head due north. In which Jess will be taking over running that facility. Dan German will stick back downtown. The facility in Westfield is going to be about double the size of the one that's in downtown Indy. It'll have a little bit more of a sports performance feel to it, but we will still be smashing weightlifting and fitness, of course, as well as a little more adult training and one-on-one type stuff. So that's been occupying tons of time. We also have started a fully scholarship weightlifting program at Marian University, which is downtown Indianapolis. So we're heavily involved in the recruiting process of those athletes now. And all meanwhile, just keeping the train running, sending 36 competitors to the Arnold Weightlifting Classic.
I think final count was like 30.
Presented by Nike, powered by Rogue.
Okay, sorry to interrupt your plugs. Put a little more emphasis on that. There you go. But I think it was like final count, I think it was 33-ish. 33, like I think I counted it, total of like 24 sessions I think we coached.
That's a lot.
Like including the Arnold stage over the span of 4 days, running from 7:30 to 11. So pretty much all day.
Absolutely.
It's pretty much a grind.
If we are to recap our performances, overall I would say we 100% smashed it. We had 2 bomb outs. One of them, I had to stuff my rage deep down inside because it was a master's lifter who's 50 years old.
On the dot.
Lifting in the 62 kilo A session.
Yep.
Basically snatching his age.
Yep.
Had a 3 white light snatch overturned by jury.
Yep.
Then had another 2 white light snatch overturned by jury, which had me, just what are we doing here?
Yeah,
like,
right. It seems like everybody was talking about how poor the judging was this.
I kind of understand that.
I would say inconsistent as hell.
Right, and I think that's kind of like a common, right? That's like, it's like, well, what could you complain about the Arnold? Somebody say, oh, the back room.
Right.
Oh, it was busy. Oh, you had to share. Oh, the judges were inconsistent. But like, at that point, I think that you don't have any context for what's going on, and that like how not on the same page are these 6 people.
Sure.
Right, you have 3 that say, yeah, that's good, or 2 that say that's good, and then 2 or 3 others that are like, what are you guys thinking? Like, did we not talk this out after the first one you overturned?
Right.
Like, did we not sit down and say, like, this is what I'm looking at? Because like each time you have to go up and you have to say why you chose that was a good or bad lift. So I don't understand why the next one would be, like a bad lift as well. It was just dumb. It's not it does not encourage that person or other people of that age. And in that session there was a 14-year-old that had his lift overturned as well. Like,
so we're jury overturning 14-year-olds and 50. 50-year-olds.
Right. It's like it's not really a way to encourage the sport, and I get that it's an A session, but they also didn't choose to be there in that A session.
Yeah, for sure. And
like
they
at the last one, yeah.
They know they're not there competing for a championship.
Right. They are the number 11 and number 12 out of 12.
Yeah.
This is how it goes.
But other than that, like our team, represented well. We had 2 females in the Pan Am trial session, Katrina and Paige. They both had good performances for them. They did not make the Pan Am team. And then in the men's session, we had Trevor in that Pan Am trial session. Again, did not make the team, but just a good experience. And one thing that I want to say, when you have a Pan Am trials or an Olympic trials and you're a part of that group, that trial session is for about 4 lifters, right? And, of course, they're going to fill it up to, 12 or whatever. So the athletes that are competing that really are on the outside looking in, they're trying to just put their best foot forward and kind of show USA Weightlifting what they're doing, how they're training, and their plan on moving forward in the sport. And I think that most everybody understands that. So when we talk about having people in the Pan Am trials, it doesn't necessarily mean that we think we're having people that are going to the Pan Am Games. Now, that being said, Katrina pushed the pace, in the 48 kilo division, but it's a tough division. And I think it was interesting on the face pages, Katrina went 74.92, which is a 196 kilo total. 166 kilo total, sorry, which is the 5th highest total in the U.S. And El Presidente, Phil Andrews, got on there on Facebook and commented, talking about how just a few years ago, there were people making the world team with a lower total than that, right? So, but it's just a reflection of the competitiveness of USA Weightlifting, right? We saw the same thing happen in the 75 kilo class. There's a handful of girls that could make the Pan Am team. There's probably 5. Paige being excluded because she chose to lift up a category, and she's always going to kind of see how things shake out with the new weight classes. So, but all in all, good representation of Team LiftLab. Trevor, almost missing weight, still snatching a PR best and competition total PR. So nothing too shabby.
Like lifeless student athlete, like take an exam Thursday. Drive all afternoon Thursday night, get in Thursday night, wake up, weigh in at 7 a.m., make weight.
Well, close, yeah.
Right.
I mean, he needed the full hour to make weight, but he did do it with some help from the sauna, and there was about 4 other guys there that were in the same position. So anytime you can see 4 dudes in a 2-man sauna, it's pretty hilarious.
It's
and you just got to accept it for what it is.
Very interesting. Yep.
In terms of just general comments on the Arnold, we go every year. This is the first time in a long time this has been a USAW event. Because of the USAW event, there was no cash prize, but there was no lack of big lifts going on. We got to see Fernando Reese hit a 242, which is his personal best in the clean and jerk, as well as a near miss at 200 kilos in the snatch. And that is a large man moving a large weight to the point where they actually put the 1 kilo plates inside the collars because there was not enough room on the bar for the frictional plates to safely stay on the bar.
Damn.
So pretty cool when you get to see the judges and the jury say no. For the athlete's best interest, put those inside the collar.
Put those inside there.
It's pretty wild. It's like, dang, we're running out of room on the bar.
They are not magnetic.
So that's a true world-class event, or world-class lift. But what I would like to point out is Fernando didn't even get a medal at Worlds. Right. So think about if you see Lasha, snatching 220, for example.
Yeah.
So but lots of good stuff to see. The women, I thought, in the Pan Am session crushed it. All hitting big weights. We got to see Maddie Sasser's debut as a U.S. representative, and she lifted well. Probably going to make Pan Am team. So when you're at the Arnold, I want to give a word of warning. And you are airdropping photos, you might want to be careful what you're airdropping to who. And I think that some people might have just been sending nudes to see what kind of reaction they can get. But if you like, I'm going to suggest next time you're in a crowd like that and the airdrop pops up on your phone, just accept it. You never know what you're going to get. It could be pretty wild.
Yeah. It is exciting.
That's how Jess gets most of his dates.
Yeah, as far as seeing, can I buy you a drink, send him an airdrop?
Check that out.
Just see who's around.
Yeah. So that's the Arnold. Jess, let's talk about what we got going on in fitness.
So fitness just came off a really successful training block. We did some crazy workouts. Essentially had them do a training block where they did 6 minutes, then 8 minutes, then 10 minutes, and 12 minutes of certain exercises. Front squat, deadlift, floor press, all using about 50% of their 1 rep max off of those respective lifts, as well as some pull-ups and some TRX rows. And I know every single week the athletes came in and they were like, oh, not this again. But now that they've kind of recovered from that, they're like, holy crap, I can do so many more pull-ups. And they essentially went through like a month of hell when it came to this type of training. And so we're going to slow it down a little bit, focus a little bit more on skill and technique when it comes to some of the Olympic lifting, some of the gymnastic stuff, whether it's like kipping pull-ups, ring muscle-ups, bar muscle-ups. We've actually split fitness back into 2 levels. So we have a level 1 and a level 2. The level 1 is going to be your basic strength and conditioning. So you're going to come in, you're going to warm up, go through some correctives or some activation exercises, then as a group do an extended warm-up. And then after that, you're going to do some sort of strength piece, one of the big lifts, so squat, bench, dead, overhead press. Then after that, some sort of accessory lifts, and then a nice little conditioning piece. And I like how we went this training block with just the way we broke up the energy system training. So earlier on in the week, you're going to start a little bit slower. You're going to start with more strength-based every minute on the minute. And then as you get to Friday and Saturday, it's going to be like 95% plus effort. So, pain and gain, essentially. So I know we talked about this a while back. You have gain, sustain, and pain. That's essentially we're trying to hit that spectrum in 1 week. And level 2 is going to do the same exact thing, but they're going to do Olympic lifting, then their strength work, then the conditioning, then the accessory work after that. And I think everyone's been pretty receptive with that lately, just because it gives the level 1 a roadmap to like, hey, this is what your accessory work is going to lead you to if you do choose to go to level 2.
So, recap for the listeners at home about the pain, gain, and sustain.
Yeah,
how we associate that to
So,
energy.
pain, gain, sustain is essentially a good way to break down the energy systems. So, you have 3 energy systems: your aerobic, anaerobic, and then ATP, PCR, so ATP, phosphocreatine. So, your gain is going to be anywhere in your anaerobic, per se. And then your sustain is going to be in your aerobic, just be able to continuous output, and then your pain is going to be that ATP, but a little bit of anaerobic as well. So essentially they kind of tie in together, but if you think about doing a 100-meter sprint repeat, and that's going to be, pain, if you're not going on, short rest. But then your sustain, which is going to be your 30 minutes of easy running, it's going to allow you to sustain those 100-meter repeats and allow you to recover quicker. So we're essentially hitting all 3 heads of the 3-headed monster, which is known as energy system training.
I love it.
And one of the things I think that's really helped, and like what's really been receptive from everybody, and you've done it with fitness now, is like, and one of the things we've added in the past 2 months is the Teambuildr app.
Yeah.
So I think that's been huge, and that's taken, like, I mean, that was a 2.5-week project, I think, for you and Brian, like originally, or like it was.
2.5. I think it's been like
but I mean, in terms of like we made the decision, and it was like, okay, well, I need you to get it done in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
right.
Because we essentially said we're going to start with our level 3 lifters, and we're going to start our weightlifting on that, and then we'll get our fitness on that. And so we started with fitness this month. I think step 1 was creating an exercise library, and so we came up with over 500 exercises. And then the cool thing about Teambuildr is that you can actually film those exercises, link them to the actual workout, And then if someone who's training distance, which we've actually used quite regularly with our distance clients, they can actually say, what the heck is a half kneeling ipsilateral overhead press? And then you just,
All right, come on now.
Everybody knows what that is. But you can just click on the little video link, and there's either myself or Dan German doing the exercise. And so Bailey and I had the task of filming the priority lifts, and it's great because as we keep coming up with new exercises to keep people interested and continue their training, it just keeps adding to the library. So.
Well, I think the speed of it has been really great, right? Like in terms of somebody comes in, right? Like they say, okay, we're gonna start them here, and we can map out, 4, 6, 12 weeks of training.
And that goes back to
right in a button click.
What Dan's been talking about how like things are cyclical when it comes to training. And essentially, you just go through your year of training, and then you go back to the start, just a little bit more weight on the bar, and just keep doing that over and over. But then at the same time, it does have a bit of drawbacks. We've talked about this too with like technology and training. And I forgot, that was what, 2-3 podcasts ago?
Yeah, for sure.
So the biggest question we had is, especially like on the fitness side of things, is how do we continue to, keep the pace of class high, but then still allow athletes to log their lifts, log their results. And we haven't really run into that problem so far. Because when I just like do it at the end, or
makes you want to their phone.
Yeah, it's not really engaging. But I think like we found a way to put it on the TV.
Yep.
So like you can have them run through it, and then when they look back, they can go and log their weights.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with weightlifting, right? They can go through their session, and when they're done, they can figure it out.
Yeah, it's a great app. There's still some little things here and there that we keep learning about when it comes to like classifying exercises and actually plugging them into a program. But I definitely think that's been a great help on all fronts.
Oh yeah. And it's been really easy to add people and to get them going, get them on the right track, or restart, or pretty much anything we need to. Like takes a couple button clicks and we're done. And it's just really simplified.
Absolutely, we have so many people doing so many different things, right? So we have our group fitness, we have our team weightlifting, we have our semi-private clients. Then we have athletes that branch into a whole bunch of different sport needs and categories. And it's just like we had to make the change to get more organized to handle our growth, because we got to a point where we're just spinning our wheels where we couldn't manage the training of everybody. As we add people.
And it's also given us the like you said, the ability to manage that better. But then it goes from this like team group design to like this pseudo individual design / group where we can say we have 5 lifters on a technique block, but each one of those 5 lifters has something different. And then the same thing with group fitness, where it's like we have someone that can do a variation of this pull-up or a variation of this pressing movement based on their skill level, but then we also have someone else that can do a higher version of that. And so we can say, hey, this is your base template, but then as an individual athlete, here's your extra work that needs to get you to that next level, here's your extra work that needs to get you to that level before you can go there. So
and it's a tool that I think it's been really easy to build a relationship with somebody and not get in the way. And I think we're going to continue to do that, where we can give them what they need through that app, just by saying here's the overall 90% of what what you need, but then here's the 10% that's exactly for you.
Right.
This is going to make it work. This is going to fix the weakness that we identified as a coach.
Yep.
So it's been pretty baller.
Yeah. So I mean, fitness is getting into it. I think everyone's getting into Teambuildr. On top of that, we have 3 distance clients, 2 in-house or 4 in-house clients that are all doing the open, and they're crushing that right now. I got 2 people within the top 100 in the Central East on the female side, 1 guy in the top 250 worldwide for his age group, and then we have 2 guys in-house. One of them I think is in the top 100 in the Central East after this past workout. So big things.
I think also special note to mention about the Arnold,
our
very own Kevin the Blackbird Jones.
Yep, give him a follow.
You should check out the Blackbird on Instagram. But he swept gold in his age group at the American Open Series. He did a 120 snatch and a 162 clean and jerk. 120 snatch was a lifetime best by 1 kilo. And the 162 was a lifetime best by I don't know how many kilos. So obviously had a lifetime best total. And then he came back, and he's 35 years old. just turned 35. And he came back and did the 18.2, smashed it, did a 376-pound clean, and he's literally, for his age group, one of the top 5 masters CrossFitters in the world.
Yeah.
So he's still doing things at a high level. I consider 35 a pretty young man, as I'm getting to turn 35 next week. So I don't think he's, I'd like to see Masters push back a little bit, but nonetheless, he's crushing it. He's still doing great.
So the thing with CrossFit is...
Hold on. And I'd like to point out, the man has a full-time job.
He does.
All right. Okay, now go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing with CrossFit, especially at the Masters level, is they don't take this top 60 from each region. They take the top 100 worldwide of your age group to make it to the next level. So
why don't they do that with everybody?
I don't know, but the fact that he's
that seems like it'd make it
in
easy.
his age group worldwide.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's
That's pretty big.
20,000 people in his age
He's
group.
top 5.
So
The man's smashing it.
He is.
And he made weight. He lifted as a 94. He's never going to lift as a 94 again. He's going to lift as an 85. But he weighed in. And most people, after they weigh in, they eat some carbohydrates, drink some water, fuel up.
Have some sugar.
This dude was eating raw fish. Man had his chopsticks out and was eating sashimi. Or what is the one word? Yeah, sashimi.
It's definitely a
I was just
sashimi.
like, come on, man. Like, you're not going to eat any carbohydrates?
Nope.
You couldn't get sushi with rice, like just a normal roll like that. I could justify that a little bit better than just these raw pieces of meat. But nonetheless, he did it. He crushed it. You can't really complain about it. It was one of the more entertaining performances of the weekend.
Yeah.
another one just from social media is Cam Big Poppy Dudek.
Cam smashed it again.
Smashed it again and got a toaster signed.
He did get a toaster signed by the fittest in the world, both men and women.
And the woman, which was
Katrina David's daughter.
Yes, thought that at first she thought it was weird until apparently like Josh Bridges spit his drink everywhere, laughing so hard about this dude asking to get a toaster autograph.
Josh Bridges, Rich Froning, Matt Frazier, and Katrina all signed.
So I think she reluctantly signed it out of the peer pressure from the other three that thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So all in all, pretty entertaining and productive weekend at the Arnold for Team LiftLab. Lots of good things going on in-house. We're going to try to get back on track with our podcasting. We just had to chill it out to get some things
squared away.
Dan, Jess, any closing thoughts? I would like to say one other thing.
Go ahead.
This weekend, at the Arnold, you're always going to run into people. I was there early setting up and ran into Mr. Half Thor, the Mountain
Magnus
Bjornsson, which he is cartoon character large. Like I'm a reasonably big human being, weighing in probably about 110 to 115 kilos, depending on that time of the month. Half Thor probably outweighs me by 100 kilos. He's a large dude.
He's a big man.
He's got to be. And then also of note, I ran across the street to pick up to this little pub to pick up lunch and some food from other people. I was kind of like standing between the bar. It was real crowded. Reached over a guy. Didn't really look at him. He was talking to me. He's like, like being real nice, being real cool. Asked me how I was liking Arnold. Just chit-chat. I never looked at the guy. And then when I tapped him on the back and said, hey, thanks, and he turned and faced me, Bill Kazmaier, the Kaz. I was like, God damn, just missed out on this opportunity to talk to a, childhood idol, if you will. So, anyway, Arnold, good times, tons of fun, lots of large human beings. Place smells like a fart, but it's still good. It's still fun.
Yeah. Dan, you got anything?
And that is all I got. I didn't meet anybody cooler weekend. I was in the dim room, coaching people in the back. Breathing in chalk. Eyes were so dry. Walking in swamp water in the bathroom. It was awful. Poop everywhere.
Gross. All right, well, on that note, we're out of here, and we'll be back next time.